about, you remember when we got on the phone that time, we was talking about doing some songs, and then you decided you didn't want to do the songs with me no more?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember when I did that. Called me.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I was like, let's go on tour, let's do it. And then our managers talked, and it was like, hey, let's on vinyl. Yeah, I remember that conversation.
Yo, it was something about the dynamic of that phone call. Like we didn't know each other, and then like the fact that we had to like get on the phone at specific times to be able to patch in somebody that you're connected to that's doing time in prison to talk business. And then like he's been with you like the whole time. Like that elevated my level of respect for you. It puts you in a different place with me. I had to take you out of the category of just a rapper. You know what I mean? Because it's like, and that's kind of like what I do, right? I don't need to know all the little details. Just from where I'm sitting, there's no way that you can look at that and see it any other way than admirable. You can add what you want to it. You can do whatever. Like the actions speak to me. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like how I judge people. You know, like you see rappers, like sometimes the first thing they do is when they upset about something that another rapper did, the first thing they do is go straight to like live or something like that and say a bunch of hurtful shit. And then like 10 minutes, 30 minutes later, somebody's like clarifying something or apologizing for something or rebroadcasting a conversation they just had behind closed doors where they squashed whatever the situation is. And me, like I can't do well in those situations because to me, I would look at that like how you feel is what you said. Like when you were angry in the heat of the moment, all of those things that you said, that's what it is. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you're making me basically be okay with you feeling like that I'm all of these things that you called me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And it's just like, it makes me afraid to like proceed with relationships with artists. Because you know that artistic space, man, it's a lot of people just treat it like it's some sort of like journey, you know, like you encounter people and they're just chasing some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Trying to find what it is that they are and don't even know that. And like allowing somebody to pull you into that shit is like, imagine attracting that shit. That's what alcohol did for me. Like after about 4 sips, the shit just started chasing me around. Just the negativity just chased me around everywhere.
Listen, I'm glad you sober. Just FYI. I'm glad for the streets and the houses of Detroit and the bazooka stores all around Detroit that you, my brother, are super sober. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my public safety heart that you were able to so there's no random explosions just popping off all over East and West Detroit.
Man, you know the crazy thing about me, man, is I honestly feel like I could get along with anybody, no matter what kind of personality that they have, because I can put up with some shit. You know what I mean? Like I can put up with some shit. I'm like, especially in my older age, I'm willing to brush things off if I can kind of get out ahead of it in my mind and process it as in a way where it feels like not worth it. You can have that. I'll let you make it. You know what I mean? Like that's like my new thing. And then like I've always been able to like, number one, when I was in school, like I've always got along with people. Never had problems in school. Any problems I ever had was me taking up for somebody. You know what I mean? But I've always been able to talk my way to a resolve. It was when I got drunk that I couldn't find the right words or I couldn't fucking find the right emotion. You know, like it got overshadowed by me having to prove that I'm, you know, you're not going to punk me out. You know what I mean? That's more important. And also just not really giving a fuck because I'm wasted. You know what I mean? Like, I just think if I had never had a drink, I could have avoided a whole lot of just fucked up shit. You know what I mean? So you think about that and it's just like, how can how can you survive that? Number one, how do you survive that in a city like Detroit, first of all? And then second of all, if you come out of something like that and you survive it, how can you think that this shit is just about you?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
One thing that I learned, because I've had those instances. I've been on the other side of that social media, fuck that nigga, you know, on all different levels. And the other side of it too, where it is that, yo, my bad, on the low type shit. No, let's get on the phone and do, you know, let's see if I'll meet you in public. What's up? Type shit.
You right. It is your bad, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's how you feel. It's like, yo, bad, nigga. That ain't enough. You better fucking. I'm upset right now. You talking about your bad, nigga?
Please. No, what I was saying, what I learned from it is, again, it's this history piece. It's a component of, for me, the details that were missing. You know, some people don't realize that part of me is really a street nigga. Probably more street than you. I just don't talk about shit, right? Other side is, no, I'm actually really intentional behind the things that I do and the things that I say. You know, the flip side is like, no, I really know that nigga, right? I know that dude that you talk, that you think that I'm dissing and I'm hating on his car or whatever the fuck it is. Like, I know him, right? It'd be that lack of a history that solves all the shit, right? It never comes to fisticuffs, it never comes to blows or shootouts, you know, shit like that. Because the conversation would look like, I want to talk to you, not to punk you out or show you that I'm tougher than you. Like, what, say that shit now, nigga? It'd be like, no, let me give you the history of this engagement, right? Let me give you the history of this dude. Let me inform you about what this really is. Whether you choose to agree with this or not, here's the history, right? Here's the approach. And I find that be the missing component in a lot of conflict, right? A lot of issue. Take away the inebriated aspect and niggas just don't give a fuck. But even with killers, cold-blooded killers, right? They ready to go shoot the whole house up.
That's their thing. That's their thing.
Once you give them the history, they're like, oh, you know, niggas ain't as cold-blooded or just irrational as it may seem. I think it's something about longing for that. I want to understand this so we can get through this, or we can get past this, or we can just shoot this shit up. But
which is the easy route, unfortunately.
Yeah, but for some people, I'll give you that. But for some people, it's hard, man. For some people, it's hard. They sitting there with that. They got to get peeled. A lot of these dudes who go to, especially in Chicago, a lot of these niggas, they hit the county a couple days later, or they hit the pen, and they sober up, right? And they being that fucked up, just in withdrawal, right? Like physical, chemical withdrawal, because all that shit they did in the streets, they was high,
right?
Niggas was pilled up, niggas was doped up. To be honest, niggas tooting cocaine, all kinds of shit, right? Or in the case of alcohol or whatever, niggas be high when they do that shit, and they hit the pen or they hit the county. They hit some type of correctional facility or whatever, and these niggas fold up real quick, right? And it ain't that they in an environment where it's tough niggas, and ain't an environment where they were scared. It's like they ain't got that chemical shield anymore. They ain't got that chemical inspiration, right? That protected them from their own demons or protected them from the reality of their situation. And once that shit gets up out their system, these same tough ass niggas that'll shoot you in the street, be in the pen giving niggas hand jobs and shit, you know, because who they really were wasn't. They were who they were on the streets was a medication, right? It was a substance, right? Who they really are these sweet, understanding, docile dudes who they mama love, you know, and because they mama know the history. The mama know the story. Auntie know the story, so they can get in court and cry. They not crying for the nigga that was on the street who we all see. as this old tough ass nigga who want to do something, catch bodies and do whatever. They see that dude before he was high, right? They see that dude when the high wears off, and this nigga call him crying, right? Or dude call him pouring his heart out or whatever. So it's something about that, you know, how we manage pain via medicine, how we manage pain via external substances, what we think the root of conflict and the nature of conflict is, what's the nature of a tough guy. A lot of the toughest nigga I know is Jack Daniels.
Who?
That's Jack Daniels. Hennessy is the toughest nigga I know. You know what I'm saying?
They undefeated so far. I'll give you that. They definitely got a hell of a record.
Percocet Merc and GlaxoSmithKline and motherfucking Colgate Palmolive is the toughest motherfuckers I know, right? The Koch brothers is the toughest motherfuckers I know, right? The niggas who make them pills, other than the scientists who make them pills, is the toughest motherfuckers I know. Because once they get a chance to detox, and they sitting up in wherever little correctional facilities, either they're already convicted or they're waiting on their trial, and that shit is out their system. And the other funky part about that is that they genius come out. You know, like that chemical impairment not only impairs their judgment, impairs their ability to feel, etc., but it also impairs their intellect, right? And these dudes that are natural geniuses, they may not have been paying attention consciously in class, right? But their subconscious was fully attentive. So they soaked all that shit, right? They had no choice. Their senses wouldn't allow them to not block that shit out. You can't daydream hard enough to not pick up some of the finer details of what this teacher who you don't fuck with was saying to you, right? It's just that when you get into an environment where that's incentivized, or you get in an environment where you ain't got shit else to do, and you done did everything else, and you're like, what else did my mind got for me today to entertain myself with? And then all that shit that you thought that you didn't recognize or didn't understand or didn't comprehend starts to pour out of these niggas, you know? And that genius.
In what way?
I mean, niggas become painters. Niggas become poets. You know, niggas become, I talked about it yesterday, niggas become chess masters. Niggas are able to.
There's some talented motherfuckers in jail, bro.
You feel me?
I ain't gonna even lie to you. There's some talented niggas, and it's a whole lot of fucking ingenuity in there. Like the things that niggas can make with a toothbrush and a deck of cards.
Yo, niggas become chefs in that bitch. Like it's all this genius come out, and it ain't that because because you ain't got nothing else to do, now you got to do it. You're back against the wall, now you got to do it. It's other pieces. It's like that nigga ain't high no more, and when he not high. He's not running from his own intelligence. He's not running from his own intellect. He's got to sit there and face his intellect and face how actually smart he really is. And niggas ain't calling him dumb for it because he's smart, or calling him a bitch or a hoe or a pussy because the nigga know how to pass his test. When they in that environment, I mean, it baffles me how educated brothers actually really are. That we kind of underestimate. And I say we, I'm saying as a society kind of underestimate. You know? And if you give them the right context, that shit will come out. So all the tough niggas who say slick shit to me, we get on the phone and it's like at the end of it, it's love you, bro.
They just assuming because of how you rap that they can take that and turn you into whatever they think you should be because of your rap style. You know what I'm saying? Like street niggas don't normally speak that articulate, so I'm just gonna assume Lupe Fiasco is tough. Then they see you on Instagram with a samurai sword and shit. Fucking throwing kicks straight up in the air at a 180-degree angle and shit. Yeah. Samurai swords and all that type of shit. Then it just be like, man. Yo, to me, I look at that shit and be like, yo, like when do you find time to like acquire all of those different skills? Because that shit is gonna help you later. Because I wish I knew like karate or something. I like boxing. I don't know. I'm never sparring again. I never want to be punched in the face ever again. So like I'm wondering like if hitting bags I wonder if hitting bags is gonna be enough. Like after I'm done doing my thing and like, music. If hitting bags would be enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm gonna have to learn some shit.
My man Chill, who you now have met, at least over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
My man Chill is he's a medic, right? He's a black belt in Taekwondo, right? And he knows how to build speakers. Like he's like then an acoustical engineer, right? And I remember one time we was in the crib, and it was this big black plastic garbage bag, like this huge garbage bag, right? Just kind of sitting there. Like, man, what could be in this garbage bag, right? Nigga, it was the full collection of Dragon Ball Z. Like from beginning all the way to all this, the full on VHS. He sat there and watched all that shit.
I was gonna say that's an interesting find because depending on who you are, it will determine whether that's the jackpot or not. You know what I'm saying? It's like some people will see that shit and be like, and then some people will see that shit and be like, yo, jackpot.
Yeah, and he's one of the most respected niggas in any walk of life you ever want to meet. And he's you know, he right now he's sitting in prison. You know, but just the layers to niggas you surprised. Like, yo, this nigga is super duper uber legit, and we sitting here for the next like 20 hours, tape for tape, watching fucking Dragon Ball Z on the floor like we kids. You know, again, that underestimation.
Yeah,
you know, or
that's usually done by the people who you know, like your man Chill, he has like multi-layered. So some people are just one layer. Some people are just like, you know, whatever you see, this is what you get. You know what I mean? Like, and they think that's all that matters. You know what I mean? Like, usually people who like been like marginalized to like a certain area, and then, you know, they see the world through like the lens of said area, you know, and like success to them is the things they see on TV. And like just looking at TV, everything that they see, they don't feel connected to that. They feel like that's some faraway place on the other side of the TV. You know what I mean? So it's like those kind of people, they feel like being tough is like the thing. You know what I mean? And then you got guys like Tupac, Proof, you know what I mean, who can go to just all of these different areas and just exist because they just got so many different layers. They can just turn different things on and off. You know, like when we were young, we'd be looking at it like we look at like stories of like notorious drug dealers and killers from Detroit. Like they put it down in a major way. And it's just like, first you look at him and be like, wow, he's a killer. Then like later you look at it like, oh, he's a drug dealer too. And then it's like the guys who like really had like complete control like over the neighborhood were the guys who like were everything. They had the propensity to do many things, but the main thing was their ability to lead. You know what I mean? So it goes back to what we were talking about, like the connection between the people and the police. Like when you see somebody with that kind of a gift to be able to like move people around and like just like that's kind of like a superpower to be able to do that. So like to look at that shit like it's something that's of value, or look at it like it's a skill that you have, and then like to tell yourself that you're gonna apply that shit to good for good. That's something different. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna use it for good. Because even as artists, I don't think we realize how much power, because you know money is being marketed to us all the time. You know, like if we grow up, all we got to do is watch TV, and we're convinced that the more money, the more successful. And we're convinced that Africa is like zebras, wild animals, children with really big bellies, flies flying all over their face, who you can sponsor for pocket change. That's what Africa is, you know what I mean? And like, so money. So then like, we don't realize as artists how much power is in the influence. I feel like the more influential you are, the more powerful you are. Because we're living in a capitalist society, so it's literally, we're to the point where the more that they print up, the more inflation it is, and worse it gets. So like once you reach like a certain tax bracket, doesn't really fucking matter anymore. Like if you can buy a boat, okay, well, whatever. So what really does it matter? Like, you know what I mean? Like the problem is Lil Roro from 7 Mile feels like his $20 is worth